Hello, it's me again, Arthur. In this video I will discuss the deadly virus, rabies. Have you ever wondered how a seemingly harmless bite from a wild animal could turn deadly? Welcome to the world of rabies, a disease as old as civilization itself, etched in the annals of history and folklore. It's a world where a small slip in the wilderness can spiral into a fatal dance with death. Rabies, a viral disease that primarily affects mammals, is a master of disguise. It lies dormant, often unnoticed, only to strike with lethal intent. It has cast a long shadow over humanity, inciting fear and dread. From the frantic folklore of werewolves in Europe to the chilling tales of rabid dogs in Asia, the specter of rabies has haunted our collective consciousness. This disease has not only shaped our culture and history, but it continues to pose a significant threat to both human and animal populations worldwide. So, how did such a tiny virus come to wield such power? Join us on this journey as we unravel the mysteries of this much-dreaded disease. Taking a step back in time, rabies has a history as old as civilization itself. This menacing disease has been etched in the annals of human history, with the earliest references traced back to the 3rd millennium BCE in ancient Mesopotamia. Here, laws dictated severe penalties for owners of dogs that bit others, a clear indication of the well-recognized danger of rabies. Over time, the dread of this disease found its way into the cultural fabric of societies. Ancient Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians depicted rabies in their literature and art, often associating it with divine punishment or demonic possession. Rabies was a terrifying enigma. Its silent incubation, followed by a violent, often fatal end, was a source of deep fear and fascination. It was not until the 16th century that a pivotal discovery was made. Girolamo Fracastoro, an Italian physician, hypothesized that diseases could be transferred from one being to another through tiny particles or seeds. This was a groundbreaking idea that paved the way for understanding the transmission of rabies through bites. Fast forward to the late 19th century, the world witnessed a monumental breakthrough in the fight against rabies. The spotlight falls on Louis Pasteur, a French chemist and microbiologist. After years of relentless work, he developed the first vaccine for rabies. This was a turning point, shifting the narrative from hopeless despair to a glimmer of hope. The vaccine, administered after exposure to the virus but before the onset of symptoms, provided a fighting chance against this deadly disease. Today, Pasteur's legacy lives on, as his vaccine remains the cornerstone of rabies prevention. Yet despite significant strides in understanding and managing the disease, rabies continues to be a global health challenge. Each year, tens of thousands of people succumb to this silent killer, mainly in regions where access to post-exposure prophylaxis is limited. Thus, from a disease shrouded in mysticism, rabies became a scientific challenge, the fight against which continues to this day. So, what exactly is this rabies we're talking about? Well, let's dive into the biological warfare that is rabies. Rabies is a viral disease that primarily attacks the central nervous system of mammals. It's caused by a virus from the Lyssavirus genus, which is a group of viruses known for their ability to cause severe neurological diseases. The virus is typically transmitted through the bite of an infected animal, but can also be spread through scratches or even the licking of open wounds. The animals most commonly affected by rabies? Well, that's a diverse group. It includes domestic animals like dogs and cats, and also a host of wild creatures such as bats, raccoons, skunks, and foxes. These animals are often the culprits when it comes to transmitting the disease to humans. Now here's where the warfare gets intense. Once the virus enters the body, it travels along the nerves to the brain. It's a stealthy invader, often taking weeks or even months to show symptoms. But don't be fooled, this is not a sign of weakness. Instead, it's a strategy, giving the virus ample time to multiply and prepare for its deadly assault. When rabies finally reveals its presence, it's usually with a vengeance. Symptoms can include fever, headache, fatigue, and discomfort, or a prickling sensation at the site of the bite. As the disease progresses, more severe symptoms emerge, like hallucinations, paralysis, and eventually death. It's important to know that once symptoms appear, rabies is almost always fatal. This is why immediate medical attention is crucial if there's a suspicion of exposure. Early treatment can prevent the onset of symptoms and death. Though it can seem like a simple infection, rabies is a deadly adversary once it enters the body. It's a biological warfare where time is of the essence, and knowledge is our most potent weapon. Rabies is often called the silent killer, but why? Let's unravel this mystery together. The initial signs of rabies in animals can be alarmingly subtle. A change in behavior, perhaps an unusual aggression or an unexpected docility, can be the first red flags. However, these signs are often overlooked, granting rabies its notorious title of the silent killer. As the disease progresses, the symptoms become more severe and unsettling. The animal may experience difficulty swallowing, leading to the infamous symptom of foaming at the mouth. This is due to the production of excess saliva and the paralysis of throat and jaw muscles. Now let's delve a bit deeper into this. Rabies is a viral disease that primarily affects the nervous system. The virus travels along the nerves to the brain, where it causes inflammation, a condition known as encephalitis. This is where we see the onset of the final stage of the disease, marked by severe neurological symptoms like seizures, paralysis, and ultimately, death. The stages of rabies in animals are typically categorized into 3 phases: the prodromal phase, the furious phase, and the paralytic phase. The prodromal phase is characterized by a marked change in temperament. The furious phase, true to its name, showcases erratic behavior, restlessness, and aggression. The paralytic phase is the final stage where paralysis sets in, starting from the hind legs and ascending upwards, leading to respiratory failure and death. The timeline from exposure to death varies, but it's usually between 3 weeks to 6 months. The frightening fact is that once clinical signs appear, the disease is nearly always fatal. Here's the chilling reality. Rabies has one of the highest mortality rates of any disease. Almost every case leads to a painful, terrifying death. Animals rarely survive once they've been exposed to rabies, making it a truly dreaded disease. The terror of rabies lies not just in its lethality, but in the painful and terrifying symptoms it inflicts upon its victims. This is why it's crucial to understand and respect the silent, deadly threat that is rabies. Is there a way to survive the deadly grip of rabies? Now that's a question that has haunted many. The answer lies in prevention, early detection, and immediate action. Rabies is a preventable viral disease. The most effective way to prevent it is through vaccination. Vaccines are available for both humans and animals, and they have played a pivotal role in controlling the spread of this deadly disease. For our furry friends, regular vaccination is crucial. It not only protects them, but also acts as a crucial barrier in preventing the disease from spreading to humans. But what if an animal is exposed to rabies? Let's say your pet has a run-in with a potentially rabid animal. What do you do then? The first and foremost step is to approach a veterinarian immediately. If your pet is vaccinated, a booster dose of the rabies vaccine is typically administered. Remember, time is of the essence in such situations. Now, if your pet is not vaccinated, things get a bit more complicated. The animal will be quarantined for a period, usually 10 days, and observed for signs of rabies. If symptoms develop, euthanasia may be recommended to prevent further spread of the virus. It's a harsh reality, but one that underscores the importance of regular vaccination. In the realm of rabies, symptoms are a grim sign. Once symptoms appear, the disease is almost always fatal. Symptoms in animals can range from fever, seizures, paralysis, to unusual behavior like aggression or self-mutilation. The lifespan of an animal exposed to rabies varies, but once symptoms appear, death usually occurs within 10 days. Survival is extremely rare, and there are only a handful of documented cases of survival in humans, and even fewer in animals. Hence, the battle against rabies is one of prevention and early action. The importance of awareness cannot be overstated. We need to understand the gravity of this disease, take preventive measures, and act swiftly if exposure occurs. Prevention is the only cure when it comes to rabies, a fact that underlines the importance of awareness and timely action. The war against rabies is far from over. Despite advancements in science and technology, this ancient adversary continues to lurk in the shadows, ready to strike. Across the globe, tireless efforts are being made to eradicate this deadly disease. Vaccination programs are in place targeting both domestic animals and wildlife, the primary reservoirs of rabies. Yet the battle is fraught with challenges. The disease's ability to cross species barriers, coupled with its stealthy incubation period, makes it a formidable foe. In regions with limited resources, the fight becomes even more arduous. The lack of access to vaccines, post-exposure treatment, and education about the disease continues to make rabies a significant threat. But we are not powerless. Every bit of knowledge, every vaccine administered, every responsible pet owner brings us one step closer to victory. As we continue to fight this ancient enemy, remember, knowledge is our greatest weapon. Stay safe, stay informed. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.